So it's definitely been a stressful a few days. Not feeling the hottest right now. Regardless, gotta remain consistent with the strength training. That is the one thing that is keeping me sane right about now. So mixing it up a little bit. Got some floor presses in the programming today. It'll be my first day back to floor presses in 2 years, give or take. Um, and mixing in a little bit of variety as well. I haven't done a traditional mid-cable row in a minute. I'm going to throw those in for some back development, make some progress off of that. And then we'll also be throwing in some static holds for grip strength. So we'll see if we can't load up some heavy weight on those bad boys. Because it's been so long since I worked the floor press, I started off with a conservative 205 pounds for 5 sets of 5. And let me tell you, it was stupid easy. Lots of room for progress there, and I'm excited because I have a number in my head that I'm aiming for that I know is going to contribute to an increased bench press. Mid-cable rows for 155 pounds for 5 sets of 15 volume. Progression right off the start, which is good because with an exercise like this, I don't make that much progress all that often anymore. But if I rotate it back in every few months, I might squeeze out a little bit of extra volume here and there. Got the overhead earthquake bar press. 3 sets of 15 to 20 with 69 pounds. My shoulders were on freaking fire by the third set. The blood flow was absolutely ridiculous. As I mentioned before, with the earthquake bar on a per rep basis, your time under tension is much greater. So 20 reps on the earthquake bar is like 30 reps on anything else. So burned out the triceps with the hammer grip tricep press down. After this, closing in on 70 pounds. For those high rep sets. I really love hitting press down work for higher reps. I find that it really contributes to tricep development and it makes my elbows feel pretty solid. Transitioned from the hammer grip tricep press down into just a simple barbell curl, micro loading the barbell curls lately, so you'll notice a random number of 72 pounds on the bar, sets of 12, a little bit of body English going on there, nothing too severe. Relatively strict, moderately strict. And then went into the frame holds. And frame holds suck, actually. I don't know why I thought they were a good idea to put at this point in my programming. Realistically, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to maintain the frame holds in my programming only because of how long this workout ends up becoming, considering the loading and unloading of the frames as well. But just horrible placement after doing all of that upper body work and then trying to hold on to anything, let alone 270 pounds, is ridiculous. But as you can see, the upper back and traps are definitely working along with the obvious grip strength development that's taking place here. I want to keep the frame holds in, but I'm not sure where in my programming they should go. Maybe on a lower body day, that would probably be better. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out, not to worry. And Thursday was a good morning, seeing as we started off the day with SSB good mornings, pun intended. 220 pounds for a top end set of 5, starting to get somewhat respectable weight on the bar, but I really want that 3 plates on the SSB good morning. That's really going to feel cool, in my opinion. Backed it off with 198 pounds for 3 sets of 5 respectively, getting that volume in, really developing that lower back strength, and in a rep range that will also contribute a little bit to size development. So looking forward to seeing how these SSB good mornings carry over to the deadlift, as they often do. Then something got the better of me, because it's usually a cardio no from me, but we got some cardio in today, a little bit of conditioning on the sled. It's been a minute since I incorporated some sled work, so instead of loading the sled up with 400 or 500 pounds, I actually ran double lengths with the sled drag and push variation, dragging back for about 45 feet and then pushing forward and repeating one more time with no break. And let me tell you, the lactic acid buildup on the start of length 2 is a little bit ridiculous. It was not fun at all. My legs were on fire. Then I got a little bit wild, strapped up some sort of MacGyvered vest band thing here, as you can see, and did banded glute ham raises. I got to work on the form on these and the positioning. They still need work, I realize, but holy hamstrings. Okay, guys, few quality nights of sleep back to back. Feels good to be rested. Gonna get the morning workout in, keep that routine moving as smoothly as possible. Weighted dips is a primary movement on this upper body training session. They're progressing quite well. There's also a little bit of variety today too. We're gonna bring some throwbacks in, some traditional close grip pull downs and wide grip rows. Haven't done those in months. So I should be able to come in and crush some volume progressions on those if all is going according to plan. With all the other variations I've been incorporating and progressing on, these should not be easy, but should be manageable to move more than I previously left off with. And then a few different variations in here today as well. Like I've got some drag skull crushers, which are basically heavy negatives. So I'm looking forward to all that. We'll catch you guys soon. And the plate weighted dip started off with a set of 6 that was just shy of 300 total pounds, and then backed it off minimally to 287.5 pounds for 3 sets of 6. And yeah, as you can see, the triceps are really starting to come in as a byproduct of all these heavy dips. What's interesting is I'm getting to the point where I can do weighted dips with more weight and volume on a per rep basis than I can move on a bench press. I realize it's not exact, but it's encouraging to know that this is a pressing movement that is outpacing my bench, as this will strengthen the same muscle groups that I use on the bench. So if they're stronger, that's a good thing. Close grip pull downs, set a volume PR right off the jump here. This was actually an exercise that was kind of lagging relative to my individual strength because I haven't done this specific variation in so long. So there's room for improvement, and that's always a good thing as well. Transitioned into the wide grip row as soon as I was done with all the close grip pull downs. The forearms were just about shot by the third set of these. A lot of grip going on here, and considering 15 rep sets, that's a lot of time under tension for those smaller muscle groups of the forearm as well as the musculature of the hand. As soon as this was done, drag skull crushers, a variation that I've never incorporated before. I actually saw it. I forget which coach posted about it. I can't recall exactly, but it's basically a controlled negative. Then you drag right across to the starting position over the chest, press back up to a full extension. Sorry, that's not the starting position over the chest, but it is the position that the barbell would start in with the elbows fully extended, the general location. So you control the negative down, drag right back over the chest, press up to a full extension, and repeat. It really allows you to overload the triceps, because realistically I could probably only clear this for 1, maybe 2 sets of 6 to 8 before my strength would diminish rapidly. I managed to clear 4 sets of 12 with this weight, and I imagine that this will really allow for some strength development in the back of the arms, both in terms of carryover to a full range of motion skull crusher, where the concentric and eccentric portion of the lift are both managed in a traditional sense, as well as to other pressing exercises. And then as soon as these were done, I ran some belt squat curls with the straight bar attachment. I know it's a little bit ridiculous, but let me tell you, cable curls on the belt squat give you a much more than adequate pump. That is the truth. So I'm finally starting to feel a little bit back in the swing of things. It only took a week and a half of stress and navigating chaos, but here we are. Regardless, still managed to maintain my training. Every workout felt like I was just punching the clock, but the clock was punched it hard. You definitely punched me back a little bit mentally, but I got through everything. I'm well rested now. I feel like I've got a solid routine from which I can navigate from and pivot from, which is going to be very useful moving forward over the foreseeable future, because we really don't know how the next few weeks are going to unfold. Today, I'm going to crush some front squats and some volume deadlifts, meaning I'm backing off the intensity of the load, but I'm going to be spending more time on the bar. Normally I do 1 top end set on deadlifts for the next 8 weeks. So I'll have 4 deadlift sessions in those 8 weeks. I'll be on the bar. I don't know why I put 4 fingers up, because I'll be doing 2 top end sets. Clearly, I'm not caffeinated enough just yet. That'll change. Front squats for an all-time best set of 5, 293 pounds. Felt solid. We'll take it. A little bit of upper back rounding as we finish this off. Form deteriorated a little bit, but nothing too significant. And then I managed to back off the front squats to 255 pounds and cleared quite a bit of volume. 4 sets of 5 across, respectively. So definitely getting quite a bit of training volume in on this lower body session. As soon as these front squats were done, as I mentioned, I backed off the deadlifts, and instead of doing just 1 top end set, I ran 2 sets across, working on building that foundation of volume and improving my proficiency with the lift, getting a little bit of practice in with pretty heavy weights. These, 405 is not light. It's not super heavy, but it's also not light. So applying adequate degrees of stress and, hitting those volume PRs is beneficial as well. Then I kind of mixed it up and threw in some 18-inch step-ups. This is an exercise that I want to really increase, but I'm going to start out light, and I'm going to throw it at the very end of a leg workout so that it's relatively challenging even with the lighter loads. And then as I taper the load up and the reps down, I'll transition it into a maybe middle exercise in a program, more of a secondary exercise instead of right at the latter end, and then potentially we'll make it a primary lift. We'll have to see. It's a good unilateral lift and might be a good trade-off. Instead of doing lunges all of the time, might be able to run some heavy triples or fives on this variation.